There are about 57 million people in the United States that have a disability, or about 90% of the population. 8.1 million people have difficulty seeing, about 2 million are blind or unable to see, about 7.6 million experience difficulty hearing, and about 31 million people have difficulty walking or climbing stairs. In the summer of 2013, I was very nervous because I knew that in the fall would be the first time I was going to start my new school. And just like it could be hard for anyone going to a new school, it worried me even more because of my disability. One of the first things that I ever did when I got to the new school was that I joined the chess team. Not only because it was something that interested me, but also because it was something that was going to make me more a part of my community. On the first day of chess club, I still remember I and other students who were all participating were all waiting in the cafeteria for our coach to arrive. After about 10 minutes of waiting, our coach had finally arrived, and I was super excited because I knew that it was finally time for me to learn how to play chess. As we were walking down the hallway to the classroom in which the club was going to be held in, everything was going smoothly until it wasn't. I was met with a flight of stairs. Now, it was no secret that I couldn't get up the stairs, but what I thought was the coach or the students would have assisted me or waited for me to do so. But to my surprise, it did not happen. Instead, both the coach and students just walked up the stairs without showing any acknowledgement or remorse for me. Since I was so young at the time, I wasn't comfortable with confronting them about what they were doing to me, so instead I just sat in silence. After about an hour later was when I saw the chess team again, and by that time, the club had been over. At this point, I was for certain that the chess coach would have at least came up to me and acknowledged and apologized to me for what he had done to me, but to my surprise, yet again, this did not happen. Instead, it was only until I alerted the teacher that he acknowledged me at all, and these are the words that he said to me. I never had a student in a wheelchair, so I didn't know what to do, and that's why I didn't ask you for help. It was after going through experiences like these and hearing words like these that were said to me that it finally made me start to realize how difficult my education was going to be because of my disability. And in that very moment, it also made me realize that in the society of today, education is becoming more of a privilege than a right because of the issues that happened to me at the hands of my disability. I know this because I've seen and experienced how different characteristics and backgrounds of a person, like their financial status, ability, gender, sex, etc., can not only discourage but also blemish their chance at a higher education. And that's why even after high school, I'm still worried about what college I'll not only be able to attend, but which one would best suit me for my needs and my disability. According to Higher Education Jobs, this is the four-year college graduation rate. 34% with disability and 51% without disability. That's not even half of the campus university with disability that get a four-year college graduation rate. And that's what the most disturbing thing about this is. When I started to think about this statistic and why it was, I started to think that people with disabilities not only have to worry about money and location of their college like everyone else does, but also other aspects like accessibility and culture/attitude towards people with disabilities. And for me, I can also say this because I've had a recent issue at a campus tour at Northwestern not too long ago. In the beginning of the tour, everything was going good. Our tour guide made sure that we had not hit any inaccessible means of entry or stairs on our whole trip. And by this point, I was super happy because people were actually worrying about me and my needs that I had because of my disability. Or so I thought, because about halfway through the tour, I was met with a familiar foe, a flight of stairs. When I was at this flight of stairs, I was for certain in my heart and my mind that both the tour of the campus and or students would have at least waited for me or redirected me to accessible means of entry. But to my surprise, yet again, this did not happen. Instead, I was left at the top of the stairs, and I had that same terrible feeling that I had in third grade. And I do not want anyone else to ever have to go through what I did, disability or not. And that's part of the reason why I'm here today. I decided I want to be an advocate for people with disabilities in college campuses and universities because, quite frankly, they're not doing enough with putting in resources and programs for these kinds of students and individuals. I believe that it is unethical and also unfair that people with disabilities have fewer educational rights and limited school choices because of something they cannot control. I don't think that people with disabilities should have fewer of these rights because their disability is not in their control and they should not be held accountable for it. Since I'm in the process right now of starting the college application process, since I'm a junior right now, I'm very nervous and this fear is still lurking in the back of my mind every time I think about it. But that all changed until I heard about this one school. University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Turns out this school has programs and resources for people with disabilities, like an accessible campus, a great attitude and culture towards people with disabilities, and also assisted living programs. After doing a bit of deeper dive in my research, I found that a lot of schools offer these kind of programs and resources for their students with disabilities, like UCLA, San Diego State University, and University of Illinois Chicago. After I heard about these, it made me happy for the future because I felt that education was starting to put forth a better effort for their students and individuals living with disabilities. And that brings me to the moral of this talk. Society today, especially in education, needs to be putting in a better effort for their students with disabilities by putting in different programs, resources, and tools to help them. Because no individual should ever have to go through what I did in 3rd grade or feel the way that I did because of something they cannot control, like their disability. Thank you.